It's the Russell Martin derby this weekend as he returns to the club which he was doing so well at before Southampton greedily came and took him away. And we've got Swansea fan James and our Southampton fan Joe to argue the toss about who deserves him better. Welcome both. Let's start with you, James, if that's okay, and discuss the Swansea view. New manager coming in. Pick the team this time. What was your view of the Birmingham game?
I thought we played well in spells again. Sort of the similar issues that have been nagging us all season are still there. Looking a little bit ropey out of possession and, of course, defensive frailty. So we concede a 95th minute winner, something we're synonymous with is conceding late goals. And again, just a criminal that we didn't close him down. I think someone makes that run out to close Jordan James down, we get all 3 points. So we kind of feel a little bit hard done by.
Do you think you're the better team in the second half?
I'd say in spells, yeah, I'd say in spells that we were, but again, it's little basic things that caught us out again, which have been going on all season. We can't be too harsh on Williams at the moment because he's only been in the job for, well, I wouldn't really call the Morecambe one a full game, really, because he didn't pick the side for that one. So it's still early days, very hard to gauge just off the one game at the moment. But again, we're still that team that plays well in like 5-10 minute spells at the minute.
Did you see anything tactically which is it gives you encouragement?
I felt like we were moving the ball forward a little bit quicker. Still, there's that little lack of creativity at the top end of the pitch. Although we did look like we were trying to play a little bit more wider. So we had Sam Parker and Josh Tymon sort of getting forward. Tymon did manage to bag 2 assists, playing in his preferred position. So that was a positive. I think he's trying to give Tymon perhaps the license to go forward a bit more.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How good a player is Josh Tymons for you?
We've had to wait a while to see the best of him. He's shown glimpses since he's come in. And again, I think it's a case of he's been sort of put in his non-favourite position. He's a very attacking fullback. And more often than not, he's not really had the license to go forward. Yes, that's right. On Saturday, we did see that when he does get that chance to go forward and he can put a ball in the box, he's fantastic. So I think he's starting to show his quality now.
And Liam Cullen as well. Just a word on him because again, there were elements of the game on Saturday where it felt like himself and Patterson were running the show.
Yeah, I think with Liam, I'd like to see him play through the middle a bit more often. He's a natural finisher. He's been playing out wide a lot this season. And the reason for that is him and Yates just cannot play together because they're such similar players. So I think I'd very much like to see Cullen play through the middle a bit more this year. But Patterson is another one who's been phenomenal for us this year. We're seeing that form that he had when he first came to us when Russell Martin was here. He's just pulling the strings. He's absolutely everywhere. And he's been one of the few positives that we've had this season.
A word on Sam Parker as well. I'm not sure I've read any update on it, but any word on how bad the injury might be?
Still nothing at the moment. So we're all still waiting with bated breath at the moment as he's filling in for Josh Key, who's out at the moment. So fingers crossed it's not a bad injury.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the opponents then this weekend. You played them on Boxing Day. Do you need reminding of the scoreline, or should we just go past that quickly?
Yeah, you can remind me again, because I'm going to have to go through all again
Saturday. Well, if you've forgotten and tried to wipe it out, you rocked up to St Mary's and swiftly got battered away 5-0. It's not going to be 5-0 this weekend, is it, James?
Well, I don't really know at the moment, if I'm being honest, because we're still sort of plagued with the same issues. What I am thinking is that we have got a manager who wants to play a certain way and is very familiar with how Russell Martin's going to set it up. Of course, Luke was his number 2 for about 6 months while he was here. So I'm hoping maybe he kind of knows what Russell's going to do when he comes down here and hopefully have a better game plan. As I don't want to throw Alan Sheehan under the bus too much here, but he went to St Mary's and tried to go toe-to-toe with the team that are probably the best on the ball in the league, and we got absolutely slaughtered. They opened us up.
This might sound a very silly question, James, but what sort of reception will Russell Martin get when he steps out onto the touchline for the first time on Saturday?
I think he's going to get a positive reception. but probably there's a very vocal minority within our fan base that are obsessed with hating him. There's like a very few in there that are very obsessed with hating him because they didn't like the way he played and the fact that he came out and called their owners out. But I think the vast majority of people will be quite positive towards him. He had a very good connection with the fans down here.
Okay. All right, let's get the Southampton view then. Joe, do you know what's amazing about Southampton? One of many things is that just how quietly you've gone about this. We've apart from this channel, we've called it out several times. You just steadily gone along, and now what are we? 20 games unbeaten. Is it now?
Yeah.
Top of the form league. Battering teams left, right, and centre. 4-0 against Blackburn. 5-0 against Swansea. 4-0 against the Wednesday at the weekend. Last 6 games, 17 scored, only 2 conceded. So it's not just the attacking play, is it? Let's just shine a light on the defence, shall we? I know some teams don't hardly get the ball, so it's but just how good is Southampton defensively this season?
Now that we've brought in a new defensive coordinator, and for the life of me, I can't remember his name, but he's come in and he has, whatever he said to that back 5, back 10, however many players are in the back line, it's working wonders. Because I read a stat the other day that in the first 9 games of the championship season, we shipped 22 goals or something, and then we've only conceded 10 in the last 20. So he's really come in and he's really got them all playing as one rather than individual players at the back.
And for 2 hours on Saturday before Ipswich beat Sunderland, you were up there, weren't you? You in Leicester. There must be a buzz thinking that you're going to stay there now. Do you feel that yourself, that it'd be you and Leicester going up?
Yeah, I think so. I think if we can continue the way that we've been doing, and we play, although it's possession-based football, like the fluidity of it is just superb. And if we continue like that, then yeah, I can see us creating quite a big gap between whoever finishes in third, be that Leeds or Ipswich. But yeah, I really got a good feeling about this time round.
Who gets you December Player of the Month then? I mean, arguably any of the 11 could, but would Adam Armstrong be a nose hair in front of Kyle Walker-Peters?
See, most of the fan base would say yes, but I'm going to throw a completely new name into the hat here, and it's someone that I've not really spoken about a lot, and that's Jan Bednarek.
Okay.
I think the commanding of the back line, I think that the way that he's just been immense this year, and I never thought I'd say that about him because he was shaky at best in the Premier League under Hasenhüttl, but he's really turned himself around, and we've got a very good player on our hands here. I really do believe that.
You saw Swansea on Boxing Day at St Mary's. What was your view of them?
Now I've got to be really careful here because I do think there is a good team in there somewhere, but as the Swansea fan said, I think they kind of tried to set up in a way that they could match us toe for toe, and it just didn't work. For the first 5-10 minutes, I thought they were the better team, and then we scored the first, and it just sort of carried on from there, really. And I thought that we were superb. We were relentless. We were brave. It was fluid. It was fast paced. It was everything that most Southampton fans have been asking for the last few years, in that we just completely blew them away.
James, back to you. The attendance figures, the average attendance figures have been out for the first half of the season, and Swansea seem to be averaging attendance about 17,000, which I was surprised at. Look at now, understandably, some of the games, especially towards the end, haven't been great. Is there a sense from what you hear in the terraces that people are going to start perhaps coming back now? That there's a bit more of a connection with the manager, perhaps that we'll start to see that rise? Because 16,000 at your stadium seems ridiculously low.
Well, I think at capacity it's just over 20,000 that we can hold in there, so it's not that bad. But over the games where it was over Christmas, we didn't have a manager, they were saying that it was 16,000, but they actually count the season tickets as well, and it was probably closer to 10 than it was to 16, if I'm being really honest. But the feeling amongst the fan base is now there's a lot more positivity around Williams coming in. The club's been releasing a lot of stuff about him coming in behind the scenes and him interacting with the squad. He's very refreshing in his interviews that he did something that Michael Duff did not do the entire time he was here, and he held his hands up after the Birmingham game. He said, there was a few things that we did wrong up there, and it was because I didn't communicate clearly to it, and the fans loved that. They were like, look at that, he's taking responsibility, saying, look, no, don't blame the players, that one's on me, I've come in, I've not communicated clearly. So I think there is a renewed sense of optimism here. Myself and a few others are amongst people who were skeptical about renewing our season tickets, and we have actually done it now that we've got this manager in. So things are starting to look a bit more positive. You're not going to please everyone. Our fan base notoriously can be quite negative on times. And there's still people saying, oh, he's from League Two, blah, blah, blah. But, you've got to look at his record. He was here previously. It's an identity appointment. And I think, if he can replicate the good things that Russell did when he was here, I think we'll be on to something, good for the second half of the season. We're only 7 points off the top 6. So, we're kind of sort of looking upwards now rather than over our shoulder that we were at the beginning of December. I think as the season goes on now, I think you'll see those numbers climb again, and I think the positivity will come back.
All right, let's get some score predictions from you both then, please. James, we'll start with you as you're at home. The 5-0?
Hopefully not, because I don't want to go through that again. But no, I'm going to go 3-2. I think there's going to be goals in it. I think it's going to be, Russell coming down here with a point to prove again against those that run our club. So I think he's going to come out for blood again. So yeah, I'm going to say 3-2 Southampton. I think there's going to be goals though.
Joey thinks you're going to concede 2, something you haven't done in months. What's your view on it?
I'm going to go for a 5-goal swing, but I'm going to go for another 5-0 for us.
Okay.
I think Russell will have drilled it into the players that if they can do it at home, they can do it away. And given that I do believe we've sold out the away end, and I think we're getting on for some really good numbers for the away side. So yeah, I think it will be a good game, and I think we'll come out the winners.
Does it not worry you slightly that football has a habit of just writing stories, and you've been on this incredible run? So it has to end somewhere. Is it possible, just possible, that run ends at Swansea? It's just written to happen, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. And that's the scary thing, is that I'm going to come back from there on Saturday and we're going to have a conversation on Monday, and it's going to be, well, the unbeaten run was ended by Mr. Luke Williams. And I have a there's just that sinking thing in the back of my mind. But then again, they said the same thing when we played with Sheffield Wednesday, with Danny Roll as their manager, being Hasenhutl's ex-assistant. And I mean, it's a bit of a difference between Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea, but I think there's just that niggling thing in the back of my mind that something could go quite badly on Saturday, and I'm not looking forward to it one bit.
Well, James and 16,000 other Swans will hope so as well. Listen, folks, enjoy the game. We'll certainly be watching as well. It's live on Sky Saturday lunchtime. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Yeah, 12:30 kickoff. I'm actually heading down there, so be nice to hopefully catch up, James, if you're around.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, if you're about, be happy to chat. I was going to say one thing before we wrap up, though. The defensive coach that you brought in, it's Colin Calderwood, and he was meant to come to us.
Name.
But our owners would not allow Russell to bring him in. And our biggest problem last year, we were conceding for fun. We'd score 3 or 4 goals, but we'd concede like 5 or 6. And we finished 3 points off the playoffs last year. And had we brought Calderwood in, I think that we would have bridged that 3-point gap. So, you look at the goals that you guys were conceding this season, Calderwood comes in, and look at the run you're on now. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, what if? Because Russell's fantastic on the ball, but defensively on his own, as you've probably seen, beginning of the season, not great. But Calderwood has come in and he's made you guys an absolute behemoth at the back. So I'm looking on enviously at that and wishing, oh God, couldn't we have just brought him in to back him up last year?
Yeah.
Right, well, behave yourself, you two, then, if you do meet. Be nice to each other. And, don't be shouting too much at poor old Russell. He's only human. Right, enjoy the game, folks. It's Swansea against Southampton. Comment below if you're a Swan or if you're a Saint fan about how the game's going to go, and we'll catch both of you next Monday evening and see how it's gone. Cheers.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Have a nice week.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, both.